Today's shir, Lili Nishmas, Imi, Rusbas Mordechai. Maybe I'll move this over slightly. Hold on, so we can see the... Okay, that's better. Today's shir is sponsored by Noam's mom, Mrs. Fix. Lili Nishmas, Chaim ben Nechemia veYosef. Nechama veYosef, sorry. Nechama veYosef. We're in the bedroom. Sometimes you gotta learn Torah in the bedroom, sometimes you're in a Beis Medrash. Quick email. I know it's Erev Shabbos, Erev Yontif. I'm gonna just say the first words, you're gonna know who it's from. Eli Stefansky. You know what, I gotta turn on the air conditioner here. Hold on a second. Well, let's get through the email first. I joined the full shir on Shabbos. Chav Dalet or so. Once I got caught up, I went back to watch from Shabbos Daf Beis through Chav Dalet, even though I had already done them with another Daf Yomi shir. Once I finished Shabbos completely, I went back to Brachos. I wanted to get the full MDY Admar Eli Shas experience. Sadmar, as you all know, that's Harry Shalom from Los Angeles. Today I watched Daf Ches and Brachos, and on the last line of Amud Aleph comes up the topic of Shnai Mikra. It's a beautiful thing he says here. I started last year after Simchas Torah, and this is Nagel L'Maisa, because it happens every year. Many people start Shnai Mikra V'Chatargum on Simchas Torah. Bereshis, you start Bereshis, and it's a very difficult parsha. It's a long parsha, and if you want to do it with Rashi, forget about it. And by the time Noach comes along, Noach and everything, so I'm giving you, I see Harry Shalom is on. Beautiful. Harry Shalom, you should have a bracha. This is the way to do it, exactly like you did it. And it says like this. But I fell off the bandwagon when I started doing the daf. I was planning to start again next week when we started Sefer Bereshis. But after hearing that, whatever he heard on daf Ches and Brachos, I heard a voice in my head tell me, it's not about the Shnai Mikra, it's about the Yomi. Because I guess that's where we're discussing the same concept of it's not about the Daf, it's about the Yomi. Same thing applies to Shnai Mikra and anything else in life. I started today in the middle of the Parsha on the 4th Aliyah. Way to go. I'm very proud of you, Harry. Seriously. That's the way to do it. You are going to see Hatzlacha. You're going to finish Shnai Mikra because you started in the middle of Parsha. You weren't a perfectionist. Those who wait for Bereshis, their chances are very slim. If you start today when you have the inspiration, that's when you go. You don't start the diet next month after the wedding. You start the diet today. Thank you for always inspiring me to be a better Yid, take on the extra mitzvah, and serve my Creator a little better. The picture of you wearing Yisrael G straddle absolutely made my year. Geshmak, I was laughing so hard I woke up my baby. Baruch Hashem, she's sleeping now. Hashem, this year will be full of bracha, learning, and laughter for me and MDY and all clients. So much love and gratitude. I'm sorry, I have to apologize. I'm going to turn on the air conditioner. It'll take me 10 seconds. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Somebody just do me a favor. I don't know if YouTube is on or not on. Somebody just, can you monitor that YouTube thing? You guys are schmoozing between yourselves still? Anybody on YouTube? Nobody? Okay. Today, Rabbi Isai is Daf Samach Gimel. Uncle Phil, I don't hear you. Hold on. What were you saying? Zoom, I know. What about YouTube? Okay, YouTube is on. Great. Okay, I'm muting you guys. If you have anything to say, wave your hand a little bit. All right. Daf Samach Gimel. It's a very exciting daf. It's a beautiful daf, and believe it or not, no charts today. So the Gemara says like this: we're holding Daf Samach Gimel Amud Aleph on the top. Okay, 2 lines from the top. Says the Gemara, Ravina, Sar Sakina Bebal. So we're talking about whether or not you could say a halacha in front of a Rebbe. What is the einish if you do? Says the Gemara, Yoeli, I missed you. I'm here in New York and I don't even get to see you. Noira va'ayim. There's no excuses. Moshe Apter, I don't know why you didn't come in from Canada. You should have crawled under the border. I know your father tried. No excuses. Says the Gemara, Ravina Sar Sakina Bebal. Now, there's a minhag in those days. We don't have that minhag anymore. The minhag was when you have a knife, and when we were learning chulin, somebody brought in a knife, and it's pretty difficult to do. It doesn't feel very pleasant. You put it like on your skin, on your nail. It's a little gross. But you're looking for bekimas in the knife. So the minhag was to bring the knife to the Rav, to the chosh of a person, and that's a way of giving kavod to the Rav. Says the Gemara, Ravina sar sakina b'Vavel. Now, his Rebbe was Rav Ashi. Rav Ashi lived in Masa Mechasi, says Rashi. But he was in a different place, in Bavel, in the general Bavel. Amalei Rav Ashi, says Rebbe says, my time Ovid Mar Hachi. What's going on here? What business do you have checking out knives when I'm around, I'm alive? It's just interesting from all of Shas. They were makbid under kavod, not in a gaiva way, but in a halachic way, and very makbid. You have to give the proper honor. And also, I saw something beautiful today. I forget who it was, something Megadim, who explains that on something else, but you could tie it into here. He was talking about Daf Yomi. But when a Rebbe demands the proper kavod, it's better for the Torah. Then the Talmud accepts better. Whatever the pshat is, they had a thing. You have to be makbid on the halacha. As we are going to see, he cared about his life. You're chayiv misa if you do something like that, and it's not al pi halacha. If you're moira halacha b'fnei rabbi, chayiv misa, as the Gemara says. Only Rav Ashi, my time over the Marachi. What's going on? Amalei v'Rav Amnuna oirei b'charasa da'argiz. We just had on the top line of this Amud, the last line of yesterday, Rav Amnuna, he passed in the halacha in charasa da'argiz. Rashi says it was the name of a person. Argiz was the name of a person who was a contractor. He built a city. He was also a mechashev, says Rashi. He did kishuv b'shnei de Rav Chizda. So Rav Amnuna was the Talmud of Rav Chizda. He passed in front of Rav Chizda. Why? So me also. Rav Chizda lived over here. I passing over there. So too. Rav Ashi, you live over here. Sorry, Rebbe, you live in Masa Mechasya. I'm in Pumpadisa. I'm somewhere else. Omar Le, Rav Ashi says, Lo Oiri Itmar. Omar Le, Itmar Oiri. So Rav Ashi says, the way you read it is, he didn't pass. He says, no. I'm going to argue on that also, says Ravina. It says he did paskin. Vitma lo yaris. Some say that he didn't paskin. So what's pshat? I'll explain the Rebbe pshat. Bishnei de Rav Huna. When Rav Huna was alive, Rabbi Yehuda lo yaris. So he was a Rebbe Muvak. Rebbe Muvak, he learned most of his Torah from him. So he didn't paskin. V'oyer bishnei de Rav Chizda. So Rav Chizda was a Rebbe, but not a Rav Muvak. The Talmud Chavar delay have it because he was a Talmud Chaver. Rav Nuna was a Talmud Chaver of Chizda. In other words, Rashi says, if you are equal to someone in learning, you're equal. Just the guy taught you one thing, then you are a Talmud Chaver. You're a friend, but you're a Talmud. So he says, so what about me and you? What's our relationship? Ravina and Rav Ashi. You know, Ravina and Rav Ashi wrote the Gemara. They're the authors of the Talmud Bavli. So they weren't just, it wasn't a Talmud and a Rav. It was more Chaverim, but Rav Ashi demanded proper kavod here. Why? So the Gemara explains. V'anonami Talmud Chaver de Marano. He called him Mar, master. I am your Talmud, but I'm your Chaver. Don't forget, yes, you taught me a thing or two, so I'm your Talmud, but we are equals in learning. We're just as great as each other. So therefore, I get paskin. Now, how far away was he? So Tosfos over here goes into the whole thing that it's 3 parses away, as we'll see later. Although it's chayiv misa, whole thing. Okay, Amarav, Tzuvim Rabbanon, a person who's a Talmud Chacham, Chazil Nafshei, could take the knife and check the knife for himself if he's going to eat himself. Says the Gemara, Ravina ikla leMechayza. Ravina went to Mechayza. I see ushbezichna sakina. So the innkeeper gives him a knife. He says, hey, check this out. Is it good? Is it kosher knife? So he tells the innkeeper, go bring this to Rava. I'm here in Mechayza. We know Rava was from Mechayza. There's a big Rav here called Rava. You're telling me to bring the knife to Rava. This is an innkeeper, a boysai, an innkeeper. It's always bad when you start telling halachas to the innkeeper and he puts you, he washes the floor with you, sort of. Like, the innkeeper comes there, he thought, and he says, you tell me to go to Rava, but Rava himself said, you're a Talmud Chacham, and the person you're sending it to by the name of Rava said that you could check yourself. Amalei, ano mizban zovino. Now, it's possible that I am going to be shechting this animal, and it's for me. But guess what? I'm here in a hotel, and I pay for my meals. I'm going to need to pay you money for the meal. So Mamela, it's not for me, it's for you. I don't have the right to check a knife, even though I'm shechting, perhaps, but it's your meat. Then if you were Talmud Chacham, you could check it. I cannot check it when there's a Rava in town. Simon, Zilo, Lahanyo, Machalif, Iko, V'Yakov. We just learned Simonim, so we got to be makbid on them a little bit, right? The Gemara tells us why the Simonim. You have to remember your Torah. Rabbi Elazar mehagroino v'Rav Acher bar Tachlifa. So we have Rabbi Elazar and we have Rav Acher bar Tachlifa. Iklu lebei Rav Acher bar Rav Iko. So they went to Rav Acher's house. Ba'asrei the Rav Acher bar Yaakov. So they are in Rav Acher bar Yaakov's place. So you have Rabbi Elazar, Rav Acher bar Tachlifa, Rav Acher bar Rav Iko, and in the place of Rav Acher bar Yaakov. So we should remember Rav Acher bar Yaakov is the guy. It's his place. Why Rav Acher bar Rav Iko, not the owner of the place, not the Rav of the place, but one of the other Rav Achers over there. He wanted to make an igla tilta. Now, in Shas, we have many times igla tilta. I don't know, at least 15 times probably. The concept of, Rashi says, it means veal. What we call today veal, it's a young cow, a third of its life. So, Rashi says, don't say the pshat is, and we go through this every time we learn igla tilta. Don't say it's the third born, that the mother had three, because it goes back and forth. Rashi, Tosfos, this pshat, that, depends on the sugya. Over here, Rashi is a little bit more specific, and he says, very interesting, that Rav Chanina and Rav Shaya, they took the Sefer HaYetzirah. It's a book, it's a Sefer that exists. I know it existed I think it still exists now. You could look in the book and you could create a Goylom. They created every Erev Shabbos, Igla Tilta. So says Rashi, it's impossible that they created veal that was the third born. It was never born. They just created it here, right now, in their house. It never had a mother, this veal. So obviously, Igla Tilta is the age of the cow. In other words, they created a young calf and they had veal for Shabbos every Shabbos. So it's a proof that it's not this pshat, it's this pshat, but it always goes back. Every time we mention the words Igla Tilta, it's the two pshatim. Does it mean it's a third of its life? Or it's the third born? But even a third of the life doesn't mean third of the life. It means it tastes like as if it's a third of its life. Because sometimes it's only 5-7 days old, and it's, okay, fine. Next. He wanted to make Igla Tilta. So he brings him the knife. Now he didn't bring the knife to the guy, to Rav Acher bar Yaakov. Don't you have to be concerned about the Zaydi? What about the Zayda? He's the Rav here. Pay attention here. Rabbi Elazar ben Hagroino says, no, I have a psak from Rava. If you're a Talmud Chacham, don't give it to the Rav of the place. Check it yourself. Says the Gemara, unbelievable. Via Anish, Rabbi Elazar ben Hagroino got punished. Doesn't say what the punishment is. He got punished. I hope it wasn't the miso that you get. He caused somebody to be over. Now, but he said a very good taina. He said that if you're a tzuvim mirabanon, if you're a Talmud Chacham, Rava says it's fine. Says Gemara Rava tzuvim mirabanon chazil nafshei. Shani hosam that chil b'chvoidei. Over here it's different. You already brought up Rav Acher bar Yaakov. You said go show, and then you're gonna knock him down. You already mentioned his name. That's not covered. Once you mention the Gadol's name, the Rav of the city, and then to say no, you don't get it. No. Shani hosam that chil b'chvoidei. You already mentioned him. Another pshat is Shani Rav Acher bar Yaakov the Mufla. He was way older than everybody else, way smarter than everybody else. So in such a situation, you show Rav Acher bar Yaakov the knife. Rava, who says that if you're Talmud Chacham, you have the right. It's when you're similar in age, similar in Chachma. And he got punished. I saw someone saying, I don't remember anymore who, he said that he got punished that they took him off his gdula. He didn't lose his life, but he went down. He used to be choshev. He was brought. His name was brought here first. Rabbi Elazar ben Hagroina, Ravacha bar Tachlifa. Rabbi Elazar was first. Later on, they put him down a level. Amar Rava. What if there's something bad going on, and your Rebbe's standing right here, and there's a guy, let's say, talking Lashon Hara. I was just at a Suda. Everything I said, no Lashon Hara. I got up, I was going to walk away. What are you Lashon Hara? The whole Geshmaki Yantif. Hey, Lashon Hara. Fine. So, a guy's talking Lashon Hara right in front of your Rebbe. Are you allowed to say, no Lashon Hara? Are you allowed to shut him up? You're allowed to jump over the table and grab his mouth? What's the halacha? So you're allowed to make somebody or stop somebody from doing this, or even in front of your Rebbe. Says Gemara's story, Ravina Abi Yosef Kamid Ravashi. Here, once again, we have Ravina and Ravashi. Ravina said before that he's a Talmud Chover. He saw a guy tying a donkey to a palm tree. Now, obviously, we must say that he wasn't doing a kesher shel kayama, some knot that's also to do on Shabbos. But there's a general isser of using a tree on Shabbos, right? We have the isser shvus, it's isser the rabbanon to use a tree on Shabbos. Rama Beikala, Ravina starts screaming, hey, Shabbos, Shabbos. The guy tying the knot, tying the donkey, couldn't care less. You know what? You're not listening to me, I'm Ravina, you're in Cherim. And then he turns around and he asks Ravashi, Ravina asks Ravashi, is that okay what I just did? There's no such thing as a Talmud Chacham. There's no such thing as learned and then Chachma vein Eitza leneged Hashem. There's no when it comes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, nobody's great. We're all in the same boat. There's no Reb Chaim Kanievsky when somebody's doing an Aveira. You jump and you say stop doing it's a Chil Hashem. We had a similar thing in Masechtas Brachos. If you were with us in Brachos, if a Rebbe is wearing shatnez, your Rebbe Ahim, Rebbe Aher, you grab his talus off of him, you take away the shatnez. Because in Chachma, vein Tvuna, vein Eitzel leneged Hashem. Kol makom sheyesh bo Chil Hashem. Whenever there's a Chil Hashem occurring, in other words, when somebody's doing an Aveira, not listening to Chachamim is an Aveira, ein cholkim kavod l'Rav. Then there's no such thing as, I have to be concerned that Ravashi's sitting here and I should ask him Roshos. You jump over the table and you scream Shabbos. You stop the guy from doing an Aveira. Omer B'fanav, if he's a regular Talmud, not a Talmud Chaver, Osur v'chayiv misa. If you're a Talmud, and it happens to me, by the way, and I told this to my Chavrusa, I call my Rebbe. If we're sitting in the koil and a guy comes to ask a question, even if I know the answer, I don't feel comfortable. He's my Rebbe. Yeah, he's probably 10 years younger than me, but he's my Rebbe. So, still. But that's in learning. Tosfos actually says that in learning you're allowed to answer. It's when it comes to la halacha. Someone asks you, Pshat, what's the halacha? You do this, you take out the Sefer Torah. You know the answer, but you got to be quiet. Your Rebbe's standing there. It's usher to answer. And if you answer, and he's your Rebbe, chayev misa. It's unbelievable. What is it? What's the thing here? It's kavod Torah, kavod Rav. Whatever the reason is. Shaloi b'fanav, usher. What if your Rebbe's not even there? But he lives nearby. Usher vein chayev misa. Still usher. Your Rebbe's in town. Do you imagine? He lives 5 blocks away from you. Usher. You hear this official? You're in Baltimore. And Rabbi Yisachar friend. I don't know. Go ask Rabbi Yisachar. It's unbelievable. Says the Gemara, Ein chayiv misa. They're not going to go as far as killing him, or this is obviously misa b'dei shamayim, but you shouldn't do it. B'shalei b'fanav loi. What, you're not chayiv misa? If you paskin halacha, and your Rebbe is there, in the neighborhood somewhere, Batanya, lezo imerli mesu b'nei Aron, acha hoyra halacha b'nei Moshe Rabba. Now, B'nei Aron, another Avihu, they did a few things maybe, but the straw that broke the camel's back, the one thing that they couldn't take back and they couldn't go back on and do tshuva maybe, was this thing that they said a halacha in front of Moshe Rabbeinu. My daughters, what happened? V'nosnu b'nei Aaron ha'kohen eish al mizbeach. They put fire on the mizbeach. Amru, ach al pi shoish yoretz min hashamayim. Even though the fire comes down from Shomayim, so Taisus points out right away, this must have been a mizbeach achitza. Now we have a big problem because in other places it says Nadav Avi went into Kodesh HaKadoshim. Okay, a little bit of a problem. Over here it says it's the mizbeach. The fire comes down from heaven. Which mizbeach does the fire come down from heaven? The outer one, not the inner one. Okay, but they made their cheshbon. Yes, HaKadosh Baruch Hu provides the fire, but we humans, we should do the fire. What business do they have to say something? Moshe Rabbeinu was around. Mitzvah lahavi min hadyot. We decided it's a mitzvah that the regular people should bring it. And Rebbe Lezer had a Talmud that passing halacha in front of him. Omar Rebbe Lezer li'ima shalom ishtar. He tells his wife, Ima Shalom, I don't know why the Gemara brings her name. Tomei ani. You see this guy that just said halacha in front of me? I wonder in Yoitzi Zeshnasa, I wonder if he'll live to the end of the year. And this Talmud died. Omer Loi, Naviata, what are you? Some Navi? You see, even in those days, the women, they gave a lot of covet to their husbands. Whoa, what are you? Who are you? What do you think? What do you mean, who am I? I'm Rabbi Eliezer. No. What do you think you are? A Navi? She calls her a Navi? I can just imagine. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Mr. Hotshot, the wife knows how to put you right in your spot where you belong. Well, you're a Navi, Rebbe Eliezer, big Navi, a Ruach HaKodesh, Ruach HaKodesh. What are you, a Rebbe? You're just Rebbe Eliezer, who lived 2,000 years ago. What do you think this is? No, I'm not a Navi, I don't have Ruach HaKodesh. Elo, Kach Mekublani, Kol Amor, Alochem, B'nei Rabbi, Chayev, Miso. It's simple. I didn't make this up. It's not like a Ruach came and told me this guy's going to die. I learned in Yeshiva. Yeshiva it says, if you say halach in front of your Rebbe, you're going to die. You're going to die. There's no chachmas there. Mistami is going to die within the year. Says the Gemara, let me tell you who this guy was. Talmud Yehuda ben Gurya Shmai. I know his name. His name was Yehuda ben Gurya. He was like 3 parsas away in our days, like 7-8 miles away. And he died from being 7-8 miles away and saying a halacha, not mamish in front of Rebbe Eliezer, 8 miles away from Rebbe Eliezer. Says the Gemara, whoa. 3 parsas. It says, if you read the words, it says, bifanav hava. That's how the story starts. It was in front of him. So which one was it? Was it in front of him? Or 3 parsecs away? Says the Gemara, no, it was 3 parsecs away. Let me explain to you. Why does Rabbi Yochanan go to great lengths to tell me his name is Gurya? Yehuda ben Gurya. Who cares? Yehuda's enough. Or, I know the Talmud, but why do I have to say his name? Don't say that this story is a guzma, it's an exaggeration, it was a mashal, it never happened, it's just to teach us, look, somebody could die. No, I'm telling you, there's a guy, his name was Yehuda ben Gurya. Not only that, he lived in Far Rockaway. I know exactly where he lived. This is where he lived, Sholish Parsis. But the story happened bifanov. So the Sholish Parsis is off. You know, Shalish Parsois is the location of where he lived. He has a name, he has a father, and he has a house. He's a real dude that died because he was Meir Halach B'fnei Rabbi. How did it happen? It happened b'fanov. He was right there in front of Rebbe Eliezer. That's why he died. If a person is over and he passes the halach in front of his Rebbe, Roi Lakish Nachash. We get the Nachash, the Marsha, different things. Why that Nachash? Mida Keneged Mida. Okay. Shenemar Vayan Elihu ben Rachel Habuzi Vayoymar. Soir Ani Liyomim. So, he says, Al Kain Zachalti. This is why I'm afraid. Uchsiv. Im Chama Zoichle Offer. So Zoichle Offer is referring to a snake. And so you see from here that you get killed by a snake. Why was he scared of the snake? Person who passes in front of his Rebbe is a sinner. Shenemar belibi tzofantim rosecha leman loy echta loch. Ramnuna Rami ksiv bilti tzofantim rosecha. The Rav says, I hid the Torah, the halacha. I didn't say it. Tzofanti, I hid it. I didn't want to say your Torah. And then afterwards it says, the Rav says, Bisarti tzedek b'kol. I said it in front of everybody. Like Kashi. So does he pass in halachas, or in front of many people, or does he hide it? Which one is it? Kam bizman she'iro hayo iri kaya, when his Rebbe Ira Iri was alive, he hid it. That's the concept of Moira halach b'fnei Rabba. Kam bizman she'iro hayo iri kaya. If you give all your matnas kuhuna, you shach an animal, if you give Israel Chaim Keva to the Kohen, different things, true smicers, whatever it is, you have your one favorite Kohen, he lives next door, you just give him and give him and give him. Is that a good thing? Maybe Rav Loilam. You bring famine to the world. Shenema. Ira hayo iri hayo Kohen LeDavid. Ira, his Rebbe, was a Kohen to David. As the Gemara, LeDavid who did have a Kohen, what? He was only a Kohen for one person? He physically was a Kohen, nothing to do with David HaMelech. So why is it called a Kohen to David? Because David, he was the only Kohen that David recognized. That's all. He only gave it to one person. Immediately afterwards it says, Vayirav b'mei David. And there was a famine in the days of David. You don't give to one Kohen. So the Shulchan Aruch actually paskins that the same applies to tzedakah. You should not give to one Moisad, one Rebbe, one. You spread it out. Now, exactly, some Rishonim say that it's better to give $1,000 to 1,000 people. You give $1 a person. Some say no, it has to be a mechubadik amount. But everybody, the Shulchan Aruch paskins, it shouldn't be in one location. You give a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit there. Not maybe in a roidik amount, but it's better to give to more places than to one place and a lot of money. If a person paskins in front of his Rebbe, they take him down a notch, and that's where that Sefer got it from. That Rebbe Lezer, or who was it over there? It was Rebbe Lezer Ma'agroino. So they took him down a notch. So he was learning the halachas of Agolas Kalim. You know, if a kli is treif, had a kasher, etc. And he said mefurish. He said, "This is Yeshua's. Yeshua's son." He says, "I'm sorry, Aaron HaKohen's son." He says, "Lachi Abba Tziva v'oisi lo tziva." Akash Baruch Hu commanded Moshe Rabbeinu. So he's being straightforward. He's saying, "Look, I didn't get this information from Akash Baruch Hu. My father's brother Moshe Rabbeinu got it. Nevertheless, he got punished. He shouldn't have said anything in the time of Moshe Rabbeinu. The Siv, the Frei Elazar HaKohen Yamod, that Yeshua is going to have to ask from the Urim Tum. He's going to have to ask Elazar. At the end of the time, when everything was said and done, Yeshua never asked Elazar, so he got punished. Yeshua was supposed to get advice, so to speak, from Elazar, and it never happened. It wasn't in the Torah. Imagine, you could have had Psuk in the Torah. Yeshua asked Elazar, and wasn't told what to do. He erased from the Torah. Why? That's his punishment, because he opened his mouth, because he said halacha in front of Moshe Rabbeinu. Omer Rebbe Levi called him Milo Kamei Rabbi. If somebody says a word in front of his Rebbe, look at this. We're going on and on. The importance of not talking in front of your Rebbe. If somebody says one word in front of his Rebbe, Ozil l'sha'oil beloy vlad. He goes down to Gehenim without children. Shenema. V'yan Yeshua ben Nun Misharis Moshe Mibechura. Vayoymar, the famous pasuk, Adoni, Moshe Kloim, by Elda the Meidad. Rebbe, put them in jail, get rid of them. Don't say anything. It's not your business to talk in front of your Rebbe Moshe Rabbeinu. And he got punished severely. Uchsiv Nun Benoi, who is Yeshua's kid? Nun, Yeshua Benoi, he had Nun and he had Yeshua. At the end of the day, he didn't have any boys, he only had girls, and that was Yeshua ben Nun's terrible punishment. We just turned to Daf Yomi Beis, sponsored the Schus Mark Steinberg's son, for Shidduch, Yitzchok Pesach Yehuda ben Meir Yosef. And by Mr. Anonymous, Hatzlochen Yiddishkeit and a Schus for his family to be Torah Diki Yidden. I had the Schus of having a meal with a famous Shatchonis here in Farakwe. So I asked her about this initiative. Told her we want to start an initiative. So she gave me a few pieces of advice. One of the things that she was saying is that Shidduchim today is very private. She says it shouldn't be that way. If somebody goes out with somebody and it doesn't work out, you should spread the word. You say this person should be great for this and this and that. Each one should start writing the others, and so many Shidduchim were made like that. But unfortunately, she says that it's private that I went out. I don't want anybody to know. It's a secret. Why is it a secret? Let people know you went out and with who you went out. And it's possible that it works. It's not great for you, but it's perfect for somebody else. That was one idea. But the bottom line is we need an in-house shadchan. Is what she was telling me, that we could give the resumes to one person like Noam Fix or a woman or somebody and let them interview, let them put the people together. She says it's a great idea. We should go with it. All right. Says the Gemara, Upligo der Abba Bar Papa. I see Mark Steinberg, you like it. Okay, great. Maybe you'll help us out. You'll start the initiative. It'll be a schus for your son. Upligo der Abba Bar Papa, Domer Abba Bar Papa, Loy Nenash Yeshua El Bishul Shebitel Es Yisrael Lailo Achaz Mepir V'Ribya. So I'm telling you, these are Gishmak Sugyas. These are not very much Eruvin, as we're used to. It's more of an Agadita. That Yeshua got punished. Why didn't he have any children? It was a Midah Keneged Midah. Because he caused that Klal Yisrael shouldn't have Pir V'Ribya one night. Therefore, the Midah Keneged Midah is that he shouldn't have any Pru Revu. He shouldn't have sons to continue his legacy. Shenemar, what's the story? In the battle of Yerichai, he saw someone, who are you? He thought maybe he's one of the enemies. He says, no, I'm a messenger of Hashem. I just came now. Omar Loi, and he tells him, Emesh bitaltem Tomid Shel Ben Arbaim. There's a few affairs going on here. First of all, you didn't do Tomid Shel Ben Arbaim. Va'achshev bitaltem Talmud Torah. Now you're not learning Torah. Aleizim ehem basa. No, I know I was over 2 affairs. Which one did you come to warn me? Omar Loi, Ata basi. I came right now for this right now. In other words, the Torah. That you're over on Talmud Ben Arbaim. Right now you're not learning Torah. Miyad vayelech Yeshua b'layla hu b'toich ha'imek. He went into the valley. He went into the depths of the halacha. Ugmiri, because when the art is not in its proper place, there's no relations then. So Mela, when Yeshua caused the art to be in battle that night, so there's no relations. So he caused Klal Yisrael to be Mevatel Puravu. That's his aver. Now Rabbi said, look at Rashi here. Beautiful, beautiful Rashi. Rashi, the second 2 lines down. Yeshua, I'm just reading it quickly because I want to get to the part. Now it starts getting the lines are narrow. So here goes. This is what the Malach told Yeshua. Emesh bitaltem, yesterday you mevatel Tom Shebin Arbai. Okay, you're over there. Bere bitaltem atomid. And in the evening you didn't do Tomid. Now, I want to preface this Rashi. I had the privilege of having in my house on Shabbosim, more than Shabbosim. I had a Chayal living in my house for months at a time, and they used to describe to me and to my family what it means to do the basic training of the Chayalim in the army. Basically, they wake you up at 3 in the morning and they make you do push-ups. They torture you. You're sitting out there, you're sleeping in the cold on rocks and stones. And 1 week they call it, I think it's a week or maybe 10 days of tuna. All they give you is tuna fish. And there are many people that are allergic to tuna and hate tuna. It doesn't smell good for them. And that's all you get, no matter who you are, what you are. You eat tuna for over a week straight. And then they wake you up again and they make you run 25 miles without water, with water. It's a disaster. It's incredibly, incredibly difficult. So imagine to yourself, this is training. Imagine to yourself you're in a war. In a literal war. Let's say in Lebanon, Rahman al-Islam, years ago. Running for your life, hiding under a rock. You don't even have tuna. So just picture that. The difficulty of war. And now let's read Rashi for a second. It says Rashi. Va'achshav shechashecha atem mevatlin Talmud Torah. Now that it's dark, what about Torah? You're not learning Torah. Lefi shahayu asukim b'milchama b'yoyim. They were busy in war, not training. War. People are dying. They're running. They're not eating. They're not drinking. They're not sitting in a. It's war. It's havoc. So at night, you think they have to sit down and go to sleep. What do you mean? What is a chayal going to do? He plots us to go to sleep. No. You mevatel Torah. You should have all sat down and opened up a Gemara and learned. I think it's an incredible Rashi. They had no time during the day, only at night. And that's what the Malach came and they had tightness on them. Why aren't you learning Torah? You see from this Rashi, that Torah is not. You're going to learn Torah. It's chiyuv. No, it's your life. If you're a chayal, you're a soldier in the army, you have to learn Torah. There's no way out of it. Yeah, you're tired and you want to go to sleep, but you have to learn Torah. Sometime. So it's a tremendous musa haskell for us. We're in a different milchama. We're fighting for panasa and for all different things. But we have to make time for learning. There's no excuses. If a guy who's in war all day long has no excuse, then we certainly don't have an excuse. All right, zog the Gemara weiter. The close match are Shechina Shmuim Shlovi Kohen Asur V'Tashim Shamid Orav Shmuel Marino in Yom Shmei Rab Gadol Talmud Torah Yoser Makrovas Tmidim. Learning Torah, says the Gemara, is greater than bringing the carbon Talmud every single day. Domar lei Ato Vasi. I came for the Torah. Why were you mevatel Torah? He didn't care that he's mevatel the carbon Talmud like we said, or that he the what else was mevatel over there? The Talmud, and it was the Talmud, right? Talmud and the Talmud. Fine. If you sleep in a bedroom that there's a couple in there, now obviously they're going to be tznius. So now you are causing them tsar. You're preventing them from having tainug. Now this also goes in a woman who's a nida, so there can't be any tashmish anyway, so you're not preventing anything, so what do? No, you're still over. Why? Rasha says, because now you're preventing them from schmoozing. Rav Amar, Rav says, what do you mean? It's a great thing. You're helping them out if she's a nida, preventing it is. That's not true. What? Who was watching them all the other nights when she's a nida? You don't need to mix out of their business, get out of there. Don't sleep in their room. There's a guy, now Taisus points out, funny, he just says his name was Haman. Just thought it was interesting. So rabbis are just going in for 2 minutes into Eruvin again. Don't forget that we're learning Masechtas Eruvin. So, L'Kavet Shabbos Kodesh, 2 minutes of Eruvin. So, there's a guy living in the Mavoi. I can't make an Eruv if there's a guy. So, do me a favor, rent out your place. So he doesn't want to rent it out. He says, absolutely not. What? You think I'm stupid? I'm going to rent you the place and you're going to make an Eruv? No Eruv in my place. Also, I have an idea, says Abai. Everybody give over, be mafkir your rishus to one guy. You say, Eli Dykman, you're the guy. I give you my house. You give him his house. Everybody gives the house. He becomes the sole owner of all the rishuyos in that mavui. Now, as we learned yesterday, if a guy lives with one Jew, you don't need an Eruv. Oh, it's only one Jew. There's 25 families. There are 300 kids. It's only one family. One guy with a guy. Wait a minute. This whole logic doesn't work. We said yesterday, what's the difference between one Jew and two Jews? Because usually one Jew does not live with a guy. He's scared for his life. Two Jews will overtake the guy. So, they made a takana when there's more than one Jew. They didn't make a takana when there's only one Jew. But now you have 100 Jews. So they should have made the takana. So who cares if it's considered halachically one rishos? But the problem is that that's where they made a takana when there's many Jews. You can't say, oh, we're only counted as one and there's no takana. It's shchiach. You know what's not shchiach? Exactly this idea that I just told you. So that everybody should go ahead and be mevatel rishus and give it to one individual. That's not common. And if it's not common on something that's not common, they didn't make exera. That's the whole point. If a Jew lives by himself, it's not common. I don't make exera. So when Jews do a funny thing like giving all their rishus, they combine all their rishus together and put it into one basket. That's also not common. And there's no exera on that case either. Also, I'm going to bury the Rishua. Amar l'shmai come in the Rava. So he said this over from the Rava. Omar lei. That's it. Can't go back there. We're going to stop right here, in the middle of the line. Azogya, that's the halacha. You do not go to the next daf. Anyways, our boys say, everybody should have a wonderful, wonderful yontif. Don't forget to learn Torah every day. I don't care if this Samad Gimel is 2 days ahead. I know it's a little bit of a cheat, but still, you should do a shtickle. Yehuda Shok, you doing okay? How's the coronavirus? Hold on, let me put the thing on. So, Motzei, I you know what, I forgot to apologize. I apologize to Oilam for being late. I was in the middle of a Suda, and I wasn't sure that 2 o'clock was okay, and it didn't work out. So I apologize for that. Michael. Motzei Yontif should be the regular time that in New York, 12:15 Eastern Standard Time in New York. Who's talking? Mark Ashkenazi?
Mark, I just came back. We thought my mother had pneumonia, test X-ray, all the things, and she's good.
Listen, Mark, you know what you should do? Instead of waiting for them to get sick and then sponsoring, just sponsor from today on. Every day you sponsor, everybody be healthy.
Rebelli, you should know, I usually, before Purim, they weren't home for 12 Shabbotim in a row because of simchas by children, by Ureinicles, Brisim, and things. They weren't home for Shabbat.
Yeah.
So, we enjoy the simchas stuff much better. We're ready to go. We're ready to go back to that.
How's your father doing, though? How's the father?
Don't worry. Come here.
All right, Rabbi Sai, I think I should turn this off. It's getting a little hectic over here.
Ellie, I need you for 1 second.
Yeah.